Okay, as what we know in cash flow, there are three components which are initial investment, operating cash flow, and also terminal cash flow. So we will start with the initial investment. So that we will cover three things, which is first the key concept, second is the calculations, and lastly is the answer. So the key concept in the question is the replacement. Because it is stated that the company is considering replacing the existing machine. So that is the key concept. Because in cash flow, there are replacement and also expansion. Okay. So under initial investment, you have to know that the year involved is only year 0. Okay. So the first thing is cost of new equipment. So this you can directly get from the question mentioned. It is stated that the cost of the new machine is 8 million. So it's outflow because when you purchase, you have to like take out your money in order to purchase that equipment. Okay, next is market value of all equipment. Okay, it is stated in information number 3, where if the new machine is purchased, meaning the old machine can be traded in for 620,000. So this is why, meaning you can sell this old equipment for 620,000. Okay. The third one is the tax effect, which is the tax effect of old equipment. Okay, how you derive this value is basically first you have to get the gain or loss of disposal machine. The machine meaning the old machine lah. Okay, so the formula is proceed minus MBV. Proceed is what you can sell. What the amount that you can sell. And then you minus with cost minus accumulated depreciation. So proceed, as what I mentioned, is you can directly get from the question, 620,000. And then the cost also stated in information number 3, 2,850,000. And then minus 560,000. Okay, accumulated depreciation, this one you have to times by 3. Why times by 3? Is because the old machine has been purchased for the last 3 years. So that's why. Yes, do you have anything?
I want to ask.
Alright, good question. Okay, how we get that 560,000 is that by taking the cost 2,850,000 minus the salvage value, which is it is mentioned in the question information number number 3 also. The salvage value is 50,000, and then you divide by the useful life. So this is how, meaning this 560,000 is the depreciation per year. Okay, then you times by 3 times 3 to get the accumulated depreciation. So basically 620,000 minus cost minus accumulated depreciation, and then you get 550,000. So after, meaning if you get negative number, it means loss on disposal. Okay, if loss on disposal, then only you can find the tax effect. Okay, tax effect is 25%. So 25% times with the loss on disposal that you got before, then you will get the tax effect for old equipment, 137,500. Okay. Yes?
How do you get the 25% of the tax percentage?
Okay, this question is quite challenging because it doesn't mention the tax effect. So how we get this 25% is by, it is mentioned the tax per year in year 1, year 2 till year 4. It is 550 per year. But then it also gives the total for all 4 years, which is 2,200. So basically, to get the tax effect is 500, meaning tax per year over total tax for all years.
Oh.
So that's how you get this 25%. Okay, and then after you get the tax effect, why you add, you don't minus, is because when you have loss on disposal, meaning it's somehow like tax saving. When you have loss on disposal, you have less profit, and then you will have less tax to be paid. So next one is increase in net working capital. It is mentioned in information, which is the report also has not factored in the fact that the new machine will require 145,000 in working capital upfront. So this is why we have to take out of our money in order for the incremental of net working capital. So after you get all the numbers, then you can like total up to get the total net initial investment. So do you guys clear?
Yes. I will explain the second step for this cash flow. Second step is operating cash flow. The reason why we separate year 1 with year 2 and year 3 with year 4 is because the old equipment, its remaining balance is 2 years, which consists of year 1 and year 2. Okay, so the first component is gross profit, which can be obtained from the equation 6,500, and we will minus with administration expense. It is given that the admin expense is 2.3 million, but in the additional information it states that 1.7 of the admin expense is overhead that will be incurred if the company decided to continue using the existing machines, which means that 1.7 million here is not relevant, so we need to exclude it. So 2.3 and then we minus with 1.7 million and then we got 600,000. So the third one is we will minus the depreciation of the new equipment. The depreciation is 2,000 because the cost of the new equipment is 8 million and the expected useful life is 4 years. And then 8 million we divide it by 4 years and then we get 2 million. And the fourth component is depreciation of old equipment, which has been explained by Fatimah just now, which is 560,000. And for year 3 and year 4, it doesn't have the depreciation for old equipment because the remaining balance of the old equipment is only up until year 2. Okay, and then we will get earning before interest tax, which is 4,460,000 for year 1 and year 2. For year 3 and year 4, 3,900,000. And then we will deduct tax, which is 25% from this both value. We will get 1,115 million. This one is 975,000. And then after we deduct this amount from this amount, we will get the profit after tax. And then another thing in this operating cash flow is change in depreciation, which we will get from the new depreciation of new equipment. We minus it with depreciation of old equipment.
Okay, I want to ask.
Okay.
Why didn't you include the tax saving from depreciation in the conclusion? In the calculation.
Because we already compute the changes in depreciation in this part, and then we already calculated the tax saving until this part, which means that you already calculated in this part, so we doesn't have to compute it again.
I got it.
And then we need to add the profit after tax with change in depreciation, and then only we will get the net operating cash flow.
Now I will explain on the terminal cash flow, which is the cash flow of the end of the period of the investment. So what is the component in this terminal is the market value of new equipment, which is 5,000, which you can extract from the question. And the tax effect is 1250, which is negative because you have to pay more because you gain from disposal of the selling of the new equipment. And the return on net working capital is when you gain back 100% of the net working capital that you invest in the early period. And proceed from sales, which is 2,000, proceed from sales of the machine XYZ, and the net service value, which is negative 500, where you can get from 25% of the tax rate multiplied by 2,000 of the price. Yes.
I want to ask, how do you get the net salvage value?
Okay. You take 25% as
The tax rate.
Yeah, the tax rate
tax
that we calculate earlier.
Okay.
And you multiply with the 2,000 of the proceed from the sales of the machine.
Or the scrap value of 2,000 is now.
Yes, that is it. So we have the total terminal cash flow of 150250, and the net relevant cash flow is this amount added by the net operating cash flow from the year 3 and year 4. So we will get net relevant cash flow of 5,075,250.
Oh, the 150,250 you add with
You have to add with this
4 million. 4
Yeah,
million
for
925,000.
The same column.
in the same
Oh,
column.
okay.
The
And then
last
you will
column.
get the 5 million. Okay.
Okay, we will move on to the next chapter, which is capital budgeting techniques. So for Syazwina Berhad, part A consists of the key concept of lease and also the purchase, but I will only explain about the lease. Okay, for the lease, we draw a timeline, and in this question, it is stated that lease payment of 5 years at each of beginning of each year is amounted to 155,000 ringgit. So, okay, by using the financial calculator, we insert this amount of 100,055 ringgit in the for CFJ, and then insert the 7% of interest and the year of 5. Then we will directly get the MPV amounted to 680,000
and 70
and 70 ringgit
74 cents.
74 cents.
Yeah. So I will be proceeding to the next key concept, which is the purchase. So from this question actually, we need to find out about the loan payments, maintenance costs, and the scrap value. It's mentioned already in the question that there are 75,000 of scrap value from purchase from selling the old equipment. Okay. From this, we started with year 1 until year 5. There is no for year 0 because there is no initial investment within it. Therefore, we calculate using the calculator, and we get this 182,980. This consists of the capital and interest itself. The maintenance cost is directly taken from the question, which is 20,000. So overall, we just total up. For the loan payment and the maintenance cost is considered as outflow because we need to pay, and the scrap value is considered as inflow due to we getting the money. So to calculate overall, for the CF0, we counted as 0 because there is no cash flow, and for the CF1 until CF4 is the same because there is no scrap value, and for the CF5 is included with the scrap value, which is inflow, and then we get this 137,980. Overall, we calculated and the get NPV of 885,477 and 83 cents. So is there any question? Oh, you have a question?
In class, madam mentioned about we have to do 4 steps.
Yeah.
But then why did you skip the first and second step? Because I see no tax calculation involved in the calculation.
I would say this is actually the trick of this question actually, because for the step 1 and step 2 is considered about the tax, because in this question is stated that it is a step ignore, tax ignore. Therefore, we exclude the step 1 and step 2 and directly go to the step 3, which is directly to calculate the net present value. Okay. Overall, for this question, actually, we for the lease and purchase, we are overall we can say that we should take the lease method because the MPV is lower than the purchase. That's how actually we estimate for this method. For the question 2, for part A, is that what is the advantage of using lease method? Therefore, I would say that there are 2 advantages for this method. Which is there's no upfront payment. We can see from here. Actually, we just pay for the borrowing payment. There's no extra initial investment. I mean, like initial for upfront payment. And another one is about the maintenance cost. from this list method, we can see that there is no maintenance cost that be included. Likewise, from this purchase, we can see that there's a maintenance cost incurred. Therefore, these are the advantages of this. So next, we will be proceed to part B for the same question for chapter 7. So firstly, it's about saying that find the NPV and IRR for this project. So we are seeing that for this project, it's stated that for the investment, for initial investment, it incurred 248,250. Likewise, for there will be an expected yield after tax inflow, which is 65,000 for 5 years. For year 1, for year 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's stated also that the cost of capital is 8%. From this information, we can find out the NPV, which is equal to 11,276 and 15 cents. And from this, from the calculator, we can shift and get the IRR 9.71. So how can we make the decision from this method? From NPV, the decision criteria stated that for the independent project, accept project if the NPV is more than 0. Therefore, it's shown that the NPV is more than 0. Therefore, the NPV for this project is accepted. And for IRR, we will accept if the IRR is more than the cost of capital. We can see that the cost of capital for this project is 8%. By calculating IRR, we found out that it is equal to 9.71. Therefore, overall, we can say that we accept the project. So, for the part B, the second question stated that there's two assistant manager arguing about either using NPV or IRR is better. The finance director stated that it doesn't matter actually what method are using, but overall the answer will be the same. So therefore, the question is Howard right? The financial, which is the financial director. So I would say it is yes.
I want to ask, why you agree with Howard's statement?
So actually we can see from the previous calculation that either we are using NPV or IRR, we can conclude we can get the same answer, For example, for NPV, the project will be accepted when the NPV is more than 0. It's stated that the NPV is more than 0. And for IRR, it should be more than the cost of capital. It's stated that the IRR is actually more than. Therefore, for this part, from what Howard have said that, therefore it's right, because either we are using NPV or IRR, will find the same.
Both will be the same decision. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, we proceed about the consistency. It stated that under what condition will IRR and NPV be consistent when accepting or rejecting project. So we can see that actually from the NPV state for both NPV and IRR, I would say that the NPV is the subset of IRR, because when you want to calculate IRR, you need to find the NPV as well. From this, we can see the consistency whereby the NPV are both accepted. I mean, like IRR from until the NPV showing that the project should be accepted, and the NPV as well. Thank you.